Ever wonder what it's like having two people who can't English try really hard to English with each other? You're in the right place. This interview was initially going to be in one video, but we decided to divide it in the end. So if you haven't read Winds of Strife yet, no worries. This is a safe space. Can somebody make a nervous laugh counter for me? Thanks, enjoy. Hi! Hello!
Hello! What's up? Oh my god, this is so exciting.
I know. We're finally doing this.
Definitely.
How are
Oh
you?
my god, I can see the book on your shelf.
Yes, it is. It has a very special place here and in my heart.
Do you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you.
Really? Okay, that's great. I'm not sure which microphone you hear me from. Like it may be from that, and it may be from the camera thingy. I'm not sure. And I wanted to let you know that your copy is much cooler than mine. You see that it's shiny?
Ooh, yeah.
I don't like that. I wanted a matte cover. And they printed 200 copies on shiny. And, anyway,
Wait, why is
yeah,
that?
so I want that copy, the one that you have.
Yeah, it's very pretty though. Why is yours shiny though?
They did a mistake. We had like an offer and we signed stuff and we moved money and the offer said matte cover and then they didn't.
Okay, well, that sucks.
Yep.
Don't worry, the book still looks good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yep. Did you see my hat?
So, yeah, you're a witch. It's so cool.
Hey,
I
today
don't have a white cape to be a harbinger or anything.
Yeah, well, you have your knife. Don't you have a knife?
I have the knife. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, see? We're both in cosplay.
Nice dagger.
It counts.
Yeah, the dagger that so horribly stabbed Lillian in the back.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's my friend's birthday gift, and like they worked so hard on it. It's a 3D print and a lot of design stuff, and they said that. Hang on, I'll show you. You see that screw here that has to go all the way through the metal to the other side?
Yeah.
They said that in order to cut through the metal, they had to break 4 drills. So they lost a lot of equipment when they tried to cut through the metal. So that's quite a sacrifice. 4 drills, 4.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was worth it. It looks really good.
It does indeed.
Yep.
But the thing around me that I really like to show is I have a thing for cute things. I don't know if you know. So I have that. I should have brought the Appa doll for my. I like cute things. I don't know if you noticed that.
The Pikachu gifts are a pretty good hint at that.
The Pikachu gifts are great, but also like I'm a fan of yours. I'm such a big fan. I love everything that you do, and the stuff that you do are so cute. So yeah, my love for cute things extends to this, and a friend of mine made for my birthday this.
Oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
He even has a little
Very
scarf.
adorable.
You see it? It's like it's not tied in. I can take it off or put it differently. Here you see.
It's very cute.
But it's most fun to just squish him, you know.
No. Don't use it as a stress ball.
No.
I won't. For that.
No, Baby Yoda is Bay. I like him.
Yep. I agree. I didn't even watch the show, and I'm a big fan.
That's very good. He's cute in the show, but he's very cute outside of it also.
Yep.
I did want to bring this. It's one more doll that I keep in my car, and it's an Appa. I love it so much. It's so plushy.
I love plushes. I love them.
Me too.
And you have some very cute ones. I'm jealous.
Yes, I do, and you should be. I call my car Appa because it keeps carrying me and my friends around. So that's the idea behind putting an Appa doll inside Appa. It was kind of embarrassing when one time I was stopped for a random check by police. I had APA on me. It was a little weird, but other than that, it's cool.
I imagine the reaction.
They asked me if it's a cat, and I was like, no, dude, it's a doll. I was sure they're going to check for drugs on me and stuff, but no, they just kind of laughed and just go.
Well then, welcome to my channel, I guess. And welcome to our viewers as well, if there are any. Today we honor
A new
this.
interview series.
Yeah. And we're doing something very different, obviously. We're changing from the reviews, and we're doing a little discussion today on the upcoming fantasy book, Winds of Strife. It's very exciting. We're only a bunch of days from the release date. It's really good. Reminder that the pre-orders are still open, so you can find the link in the description, as always. I'm doing my job here. And
That you do.
yeah, well, there will be we'll try to keep the discussion spoiler free. At some point, we will talk about my review and my experience with the book, so that part would be a little bit spoilery, but you can stick around for the rest. I'll leave timestamps as usual. And yep, this is very exciting. We're here with
I'm
the
very
author.
excited too.
I'm very honored to have him on my channel. Thank you for doing this, by the way. I wasn't sure you would accept.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, I'm a big fan of the book, so I thought I would help as much as I can. And also, I have a bunch of questions, so you have to answer them.
All right. I'm ready to answer it all. I do want to say again, I'm a big fan of yours. I followed your work for like 6 months before I got the guts to send you the first message, and it's so nice that we got to do this collaboration of ours.
Do you remember how much time I spent to answer, like to accept your offer? Of making the first artwork
yes,
of Ivy.
But yeah, I remember. But it was a very weird time. It was in the same time that I started the last round of edits.
Yeah.
And it was the same time that I had to work like all hours of the day for like 2 weeks or something like that. I had a very demanding job back then. So I didn't mind that much, but I did feel, how do I say that? Increasingly impatient. I was like,
well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you. That's because I completely freaked out. I was completely shocked that anyone would offer me money to draw for them. That was I never thought in a million years that would happen to me, and so I was obviously very happy, but also I didn't know. I guess I didn't have the confidence really for it. I really didn't think that my art was that good or good enough for a fantasy book or fantasy series, so I was very I don't know, I was scared, I guess, and that's why I hide. That's what I do.
I'm sure any artists out there that are just in the beginner level are like that. It's the imposter syndrome, we are all so convinced that we're hacks, that we're not real, and then we realize that we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you insisted. I'm glad you came back, because I would have hidden forever. All right. So.
All right. Bring it with the questions.
Ooh. Are you ready? Do you feel nervous?
I'm ready. I'm feeling a little bit like I'm interrogated, but mostly I feel excited. Oh, yeah. And I've been seeing so many people do it online on YouTube and other channels and stuff, and I was like, I want to be asked those questions too.
Oh, don't worry. There are many questions for you. Don't worry.
I'm up for it.
All right. So I guess we'll start. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yes, I am Urigat, aka UG Gutman, the author of Winds of Strife. Um, it's a fantasy novel with a hard magic system, kind of inspired by Sando, with very morally gray characters, and it's my debut. But I don't know, I've been writing it for a very long time, and I hope people will enjoy it. And I'm hoping to make it a career. That's me.
I'm sure people will. It's coming on the 24th of January, so it's very
Mm-hmm.
close. Would you like to maybe detail the magic system? Because that's a very important part of the book, in my opinion, and also my favorite. I think, yeah, you did a good job. You did a really good job on
Thanks.
that. So if you want to detail that, maybe talk about the characters, what you really wanted to do with the book, the story, that kind of stuff. You can say anything you
Mm-hmm.
want.
All right. The magic system is my favorite part too. Um, the thing about it is that I kind of just wanted to introduce the idea of controlling your emotions, and then magic got tied into it. And then I was like, I guess I need a plot and characters also. Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. um, so yeah, the magic system is very much in the core of the story. And it's based on emotions, as in each emotion grants different powers, and they can harness, let's say, calm for a shield. And the thing about it is that the power kind of reflects the emotion itself. So calm is somewhat protective. So harnessing calm gives you a shield. And anger is somewhat aggressive. So harnessing that shoots fire. But also each emotion, when used too much, it has negative effects. It affects your, who you are, and if you're too much in the same emotion, it makes you a different person. So that's the consequences of using the magic too much. And people can see in the book how characters that use calm too much become apathic, and people who use anger too much make poor decisions and stuff like that. Um, Other than that, uh, I guess I really wanted more gray characters. I was very much inspired by Game of Thrones when I thought about that. The show just caught me. I joined the show only when it hit like the fourth season. Everybody got so excited about the ending of the third season, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. Um, and I really liked how each character there is a little bit good and a little bit bad. And I really wanted to do that, but not only for characters, but also for themes and for powers and stuff. So each thing that I try to introduce in the book, I try to introduce it both as a good thing and as a bad thing. I'm sure we'll discuss it more later, but like forgiveness is a big theme in the book, and I show its bad side and its good side. And the characters, they have good sides and bad sides, and the powers also have good sides and bad sides. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was very confused. Like the first time when you told me a little bit about the magic back when I was still working on Ivy, I was confused about the whole emotion thing because it seemed very control based, and to me, emotions are very easy to control. So I was like, how does this magic work? But then I finally read the book, and it totally made sense in the end. And as for the morally gray characters, your characters are all very, very morally gray. They do a lot of good
Oops.
things, but also a lot of bad things. We'll get back to this in a moment, but yeah, there's always this morality thing going on. I think it's the biggest theme. Like the good and bad are constantly a topic throughout the whole
Mm-hmm.
book, and I thought it was good. It was really good. I did feel conflicted a lot of the time. So you know,
That's good. That's good. That means I did my job.
yeah,
People who are
you
not
did
feeling
it very well.
conflicted.
If your purpose was to make me angry, that happened.
It's part of the purpose, part of it. We can talk about it a bit more. Like it's very difficult not to spoil the rest of the series because a lot of it is just foreshadowing for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But I can say I think it's very fair to say, some other people said that about the book already. There is this one character who's a little bit of a Mary Sue, and I have a very embarrassing fault about that. I love a Mary Sue story. I realize it's not good writing. It shouldn't be written like that. Like I had my issues with other Mary Sue stories, especially movies. But somewhere deep inside me, when you see a character just being super powerful and kicks everybody else's ass, I really love that. So I wanted to have a Mary Sue in my story, but I wanted people to really like my Mary Sue. I wanted them to enjoy it. I didn't want them to complain about it. So for that to work, I had to be cruel to the reader. I didn't see any other way to do that. So that's what I do. I have a Mary Sue and I put her in a victim's spot, so people will be sympathetic for her. So when she kicks ass, people really enjoy that.
No, I did like those moments. The others were, but I mean, we're gonna talk about that, but you know, but before we move to my thoughts and my review and stuff, would should we make a summary of the story? You talked about the magic, the characters, the themes, the summary. What's the story?
I think I said pretty much enough. We could add that it is very much inspired by V for Vendetta and other revenge stories. The main character is looking for revenge, and his revenge also comes with making the country a better place. And in addition to that, there is a lot of mystery to it. Like the reader gets like hints and clues about what's going on, and slowly it all unravels and becomes clearer. And that's something I very much like about other revenge stories. Like you get thrown into the middle of stuff and action and everything, and you slowly learn about the world and motives and stuff like that. So that's the story. It has the magic system that we discussed, and it has the plot. At this point is a revenge story of making the world a better place. There is also a bigger plot that the nights keep getting longer, and the characters don't really know why. They do wish to stop it. Some characters wish to stop it more than others. This drive to save the world, it's sometimes make them a villain. Like often people who want to save the world find themselves in the villain spot. So people do want to stop the night from getting longer. They don't know exactly how. And that's that. That's pretty much the book, the first one.
Yeah, at this point we still know next to nothing about the nights and why they're getting longer. There's
things were foreshadowed, but I shouldn't say more than that.
Yeah. I probably missed a lot of things anyway. But yeah, it's very focused, I'd say, about the whole witches issue. Women can't practice sincerity because there's some stuff that happened and that started this whole disaster. Let's say it's a disaster.
Yes.
So,
a couple of women did bad stuff in the past, and that's why everyone is like, no, women who use powers bad. This must not happen.
Yeah.
Because that's realistic. That's how it happened in the real world. So yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Mm-hmm. I could say. I hope this won't make me unlikable in a way to the audience. I spent my teenage years being a little bit of a sexist myself. Like I was trying to point out differences between men and women. Like I was trying to find rules for that and stuff. And writing this book was a part of my quest to grow, to understand that it's not a difference of genders as much as it is a difference between people and individuals and stuff like that. And it did very good job. Like right now, I don't think I'm sexist in any way. But I did pour all of my previously sexist thoughts into the book. I gave them to characters. So there is that issue also, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good because the issues are there, and we can see the characters try to fight against that. And I hope we can see this growth eventually. happen. I have faith in that. We have many great female characters. I believe they will kick ass. Like, you know, I have very good hope for that.
Right.
Want to move on to the audience questions?
Sure, definitely.
There are so many. I think there are like 30, over 30 of them. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, I'm in for it, as long as you are.
Okay, so first question is by Andrew. He asked, what was it like to write a book that isn't in your native language? I'm very interested by that.
It started off real nice because I absorb fantasy in English. I absorb it in from video games and series and movies and other books, all in English. So the native language for me to write is definitely English, at least in this genre. Hebrew doesn't have remotely enough vocabulary to make that story work. For example, we don't have a good translation for the word harness, and they harness emotions all the time, and we don't have a word in Hebrew that works for that.
Yeah.
So writing in English made it really easy, but there were challenges also. For example, one of my editors caught up that I didn't use the word, what was it? Hum. Humming means like, like humming a music,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So in Hebrew, the translation for that also means the sound of
Oh, yeah.
like when you just nod. We use the same verb for both of them. But in
Okay.
English, it doesn't work like that. And there is no verb to say the second one, the just nod thing. Humming doesn't mean that. But I thought that it does because it does in Hebrew. So there were a bunch of verbs like that I used in a wrong way. And then editors 2 and 3 really caught me on that. And that was really good. But it was also a challenge. Like that's what happens when you learn from just, stories and stuff and not appropriately. So there was that. Other than that, writing in a foreign language. I should also say that I felt very comfortable with English because I like chatting with people, like on Discord and WhatsApp and Facebook and everywhere. I really like that. So I really like that I got to share my story with those people also, and not just with people from my country. So mostly benefits, a little bit challenges, nothing that editors can't handle, and that's my answer.
Well, yeah, English does touch a lot more people, and I think you did well. I honestly couldn't tell that English wasn't your first language from reading the book, so, again,
Well
great
done
job.
to my editors, especially the last one.
Yeah.
I do want to direct this question to you now, though. Like I remember that you told me that you write a little bit too,
Yeah.
and you write in French, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to say, like, try to, I don't know, try to write in English, maybe. That's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could try actually. French is just the language that I'm most comfortable with, and I have a much richer vocabulary too. But I study English in college, so we are asked very often to write essays and short stories and stuff. I can do that, but for a whole book, I don't feel confident enough. I don't think I'm that good yet. But I might try actually. I can do that sometime in the future.
All right.
Uh,
I very much encourage that. Once again, many more benefits than challenges.
True. All right.
Okay,
Next
next.
Question from Entropy asking, what's keeping you to work through your writing process? How do you consistently wake up and think, today I'll write?
There is this very common writing advice: don't fall in love with your story. I don't like that. I like falling in love with my
Yeah,
story.
I totally should.
I'm very much not behind. Thank you. I'm very much not behind this common advice. Um, so my counter advice is do fall in love with your story, but where is that Yoda doll? Let's put Yoda here. It's Baby Yoda, but imagine it's the real Yoda, and let me just say, learn to let go of everything you fear to lose.
Let go of everything you fear to lose.
And just fall in love with your story, but do learn to let go of stuff, and that way you win both sides. Like you, with love to your story, you will always want to write it, but if you also learn to let go, then you will learn to make it better, like with the editing process and everything.
Yeah, that's
So
very
how do
important.
I? The answer to entropy is that I do fall in love with my story, but I do feel that I need to give this warning: learn to let go. That's also important, and it's a delicate balance. It's a balance that was hit in Star Wars and in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I recently rewatched that, and they mentioned that also. So yeah, it's very important in everything in life. When you fall in love with stuff, it's also very important to learn to let go.
Yeah.
All right.
And with it comes the motivation too, which is hard sometimes to find. Next couple questions are by uh, Gorav. I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry. This is the part that's very fun because we have these very interesting questions, but also very fun because I'm about to butcher all of these names. So
That's
Gorav
a good name.
asks, he asks, how did you market your book other than sending it to booktubers? Did you go for some contest? Was it self promotion on social media or anything like that?
Okay, I did hire a marketing company.
Mm-hmm.
They call themselves eBook Pro, and good sides and bad sides to it. The obvious bad side is that it is very expensive. The good sides is that they are very good at what they do, and they save you much. The thing that I felt was the best for me with working with a company like that is that they already know stuff, and that way I don't have to learn those stuff. I can just ask them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is so many things to learn, like even just opening an account in Goodreads, it demanded an entire day for me to like read about it and watch videos about it and then do it. And then I had some issues and malfunctions and stuff, so I had to tackle that, support and stuff. So there's a lot to learn, and that's just to Goodreads. There's still 100 more platforms in which you have to work. So having a marketing company who already know how Amazon works and other stuff, that saves you a lot of learning, and it's a little bit lazy, but it's also very productive. Um, so marketing company, that's one. And they are arranging all the campaigns for me, the big campaigns, like ordering, I don't know, arranging a discount and getting the newspapers to send emails to people that there is this book and it's discounted and stuff. Other than that, yes, I did approach booktubers, but my first big step was to approach a normal reviewer, not a booktuber. And his name is Gilad, and he's great. And the thing about him is that I realized he has a very similar taste to mine and to what I write. So I wanted him to read the book, not because I like him as a reviewer, I do like him as a reviewer, but mostly because I felt that he might like the book. And it's a bit like cheating, like sending the book to someone you know who's going to like it. But also he's the target audience. Like, what can I
Yeah.
say? He's the target audience and he's connected to the target audience, so that's good. And that's what really gave the kick. When I sent his review to people, both on Discord and around my personal social areas, circles, that the fact that someone whom I never met in real life actually liked the book,
Yeah.
it really gave people the courage to take a chance on it.
Yeah.
So pick a reviewer who you really believe will like your story, who really likes stories like yours. And that's my tip, the biggest marketing tip.
That's good advice. Second question is, how did you handle the sensitive topics in your books, such as the abuse? We talked about this a little.
Poorly, very poorly. Yeah, we talked about it a lot. I should just add to that I try to read a lot about it. Whenever somebody posted a story about abuse, like domestic abuse and sexual abuse, I try to read about it and to understand both sides, even the bully's side, like understand what's going through his head and how he justifies his actions and stuff like that. So that's how I did it. I just tried to read a lot about it.
All right. Okay, so the next three questions are by somebody. They didn't give me a name, so I'm gonna keep them anonymous just in case, but I can always add a name later. So the first question is, do you usually find the plot or the characters first when writing? I think you answered that it was the magic, and then you had to build the whole plot.
The magic system came first, definitely. Fun fact, I don't know how fun it is. I wanted this to be a self-help book to learn how to control your emotions. And it developed from there. Because I really like fantasy, what can I tell you?
Yeah.
And I really like magic. So yeah, it started from this horrible self-help book idea, and then it became a magic system, and then it became characters and plot and stuff, and then the world building. That's how it worked for me.
Okay. It's very weird, but also fascinating how ideas, first come to you and then develop over time. I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
Second question is, when did you decide to invest the money in publishing?
Let's see. The thing is, the reason I'm thinking about it so much is that it wasn't really my decision. I wasn't really prepared to invest so much money. I'd say that at this point, I think I spent about $10,000 and I earned about a quarter of that amount, which is really nice for just 2 months. But it wasn't exactly my decision. I do have the support of my parents. They very much support this whole thing. And for example, the marketing company, which is the largest part of the expenses, that was my dad. He mostly pushed towards using them. He followed them on Facebook for years, and he really liked their work. And he said that he trusts them and he's willing to put up the money. So it was more his decision than mine. Like, he decided he likes them. He said he's willing to offer the money, and I was like, okay.
They did help in the end, so it's good.
Yeah. I do want to answer that in regard of the smaller amounts of money, which is some of the money that I paid you and some of the money that I paid, I don't know, the cover was all from my money because I wanted an amazing cover and it turned out amazing. Wow. And a lot of other stuff that I invested my money in. That decision is reinforced with each good review. Each time somebody says I like the book, I'm like, oh my God, I actually wrote something good. I gotta invest in that. So that's about it. I think when I approached you, it was about the same time I approached the third editor, and she really liked chapter 1. And I wasn't expecting such a good feedback. And that gave me the strength to approach you and ask you for Ivy's illustration. And then each time I get a positive review, I feel like I want to just invest more in it, to get more fan art and more marketing and more everything. So that's that, pretty much. That's how I make the decision. Each good review just gives me power.
It's been working so far, so definitely keep going.
Mhm.
Uh, I got lost in my question. Okay, no. Question number 3. Do you see yourself quitting your day job if your writing takes off?
Yes, definitely. I would love to write for a living. I also very much like teaching. People who know me on social media also know that I like reading few first chapters from people and give them both criticism and positive feedback. I really like that. I really like teaching. I love kids. So I really want to teach writing also. Uh, it may or may not be because Sanderson is also teaching and he is kind of my idol. But also it does have to do with him, but it also doesn't. It also comes from me. So I do wish to earn my living from writing, but I also want to earn my living from teaching writing.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Okay. Next person is Yulwei. Yulwei? Yulwei.
Yes.
We'll say that's how we say it. So first question from them is, I heard this project took you a decade to complete. How did it start and how much did it change through the years? You answered this a little bit with the whole ideas, but could you be more specific maybe?
I can tell one more story that I didn't tell before. It's a horrible story. I'm sorry for that. I may come out from it a little pretentious, but what happened was that I had a great girlfriend about 9 years ago, and she was writing her novel. It was really cool. It was in Hebrew, and um, uh, she had like 150 pages or something like that. And I had no idea that someone who is not a certified author who has a degree in writing and everything can write a book. Like I thought that's impossible. And then she showed me that it's possible. And I was like, if she can, I think I can too. And then I tried and I wrote a horrible story. It was 100 pages long and it's a zombie book where you beat the zombies with the power of love. And it's a terrible idea. It's horrifying. But that's how I started. And then I decided to, what I said before with the self-help book idea and everything, and how it evolved. And the biggest step forward with that was when I finished writing the entire trilogy, like finished writing the story in a way that it's readable for me. I told people about that, and people were really excited. People loved the idea of the magic system, and they said that they may read it someday. And that gave me the power to revise and make it appropriate for them to read also.
Yeah, don't feel too bad about the first horrible story. We've all been there. I think we all know, as beginner writers, we all know it.
No, I do feel horrible about me being so pretentious, thinking that if she can, then I can too. That's the part I feel ashamed about.
Fair.
It's a little pretentious. Hmm?
I mean, all is fine in the end. You wrote a great book, so you were right to believe in yourself.
Thanks.
Okay, second question is, how did you refine your prose? I'm laughing because we both know the answer.
Yeah, 3 rounds of edits. I do wish to give the strong recommendation of try to get an editor from your target audience. It's more important than the experience that the editor has, at least in my opinion. My first editor was very experienced, but she's not from the target audience. The second one was closer to the target audience, but she was not quite there yet. And the third one was actually from the target audience. She follows all the booktubers and everything. She knows what to be sensitive about, and she helped me make everything just better. She helped making it from a 2.5, maybe 3 stars into a 4 5 stars book. So get an editor from the target audience. It's much more important than anything else.
Exactly, and also she's a superstar. I think we should give her a round of applause. She did a great job too.
It's amazing.
Yeah, let me clap too. All right. Question 3. What are the challenges you faced as a self-published author?
Wow, like a lot of challenges. I don't want to burst into an hour-long lecture. Um, let's see. I think the hardest challenge is being frowned upon. Like whenever someone asks you if you're traditionally publishing or self-publishing, and you find yourself saying self-published,
Yeah.
you a little something in you feels unapproved, or like you need more approval. And I don't know what to say about that. It smells a little bit like imposter syndrome, but it's not exactly
Yeah.
that. And like my family has been mostly supportive, but still something in me feels frowns. I don't know if it's more from them or from me, but that's the biggest challenge. But it's also the biggest motivator. This need of approval keeps pushing you forward and making you want to write the best story that you can. So it's a challenge, but it's also a very big motivator. Uh, Other than that, I can just say money, I guess. But the money
Yeah.
really balances itself with control. Like, yes, it's expensive, but the amount of control you have is unbelievable. It's a challenge, but it's really it balances out really nice.
Yeah, I definitely saw that a lot too, especially when following YouTube channels of self-published authors like Jenna Moresi. I think she's the first one that I followed, and she's talked a lot about this stuff. And it's very unfair to think that, well, being traditionally published gives you the seal of approval, as if self-published authors have, I don't know, less good stories, I guess. I don't know. It feels like they need to prove themselves way more to be approved of, kind of. And it's unfair because, being self-published doesn't mean your book isn't good. So, yeah, and also you mentioned the control over your project. And I think that's very important. I don't think I would stand, having someone try to change stuff that, uh, you have full control over your book. Your book is your baby. You kind of you want to protect it. So I understand that. Um, but yeah, you have to deal with a lot of things too, with the whole marketing stuff, and it's a lot, I imagine. So good luck with that.
It's a
It's not
lot,
over.
but
You
I
have
wouldn't.
more books.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the marketing is the biggest challenge, though.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a challenge, but
Sure.
it's not the biggest.
Mhm.
There are others bigger. I do want to say to anyone listening, if you don't follow Jenna Moresti or Meg Latour, please do. They have amazing videos
Yeah.
and they really helped me. I can just say, for example, Jenna Moresi had this one really good tip. She said to approach other people online, reviewers and everything, like they are people.
Yes.
And I did not see that before she said that, and it's so ridiculous for me. I hate myself for that. And yeah, she's so correct about that. When you approach a reviewer, he or she, they're a person. They have their own self-confidence issues, and they have their own, I don't know, dreams and stuff. And like, just you can ask them for a favor, but at least also be their friend or try to find a way to give them a favor back or something, because they don't owe you anything.
Yes.
Communicate with them as if they are people.
Exactly. No, she has very, very precious advice. So if you don't know the channel, definitely go check it out. Okay, so question 4. What advice would you give a newbie writer like myself? Any tips to follow and mistakes to avoid?
Jenna Morrissey and Magneto, go watch them. No, I'm kidding. The best advice is to try to read as much, not as much, but read a lot of other people's works, not necessarily big authors, also other newbie writers. And as you give them reviews, make sure to improve yourself from the review that you give them. So like you see someone do a lot of telling instead of showing, point it out to them, and also learn from your own comment how to improve on that angle in your own story.
Yeah,
It's also very community oriented, because in that, if people will take this advice, then there will be a lot of more better reading between us, and it's great.
I also think that's very important, because I found myself in this situation where I gave critics to other stories, and I didn't realize I was making the same mistakes in my own story. So it's very important to, be self-critical too, and try to look as objectively as possible to your own work.
Yes, yes, exactly. But you will improve as a self-critic if you also critique other people's work. That's the advice.
Okay, so now is Rian. Question 1, do you still keep the first draft of your project to see your improvement? Oh, the horror.
I don't go back to it very often. I have some fun facts about that. First off, I sent my first draft to one of my buddies. He didn't read anything beyond that afterwards. He does very much support what I do. He bought the book, of course. And it was 40,000 words long. Now the book is about 140. And anyway, I have that saved in my email to him somewhere. I don't go back to it often. What I do have to say about that, it's really funny. The names of the characters, the way they change, it's really, I don't know, I find it hilarious. Ivy's name was Mariana for some reason. And her
It's a pretty name.
was Miri. Yeah, I guess it is. I wanted it to sound a bit like her mother's name. Her mother's name is Adrian, and I don't know, Marianne is somewhat similar. So there's that. And Kerak's old name was Cezanne for some reason. I think I found the letter Z as the letter of rock and roll, and that it can work as a villain's name. I didn't like it very much at all. I kept looking for replacements. Keiran's old name was Krem, because I wanted it to sound like Krim, because he's soft, because he's empathetic. It was terrible. Terrible naming. Yeah, so I find that very funny to go back to older drafts and see the old names. Not to see how I improved, no. I do see that when, now that I get back to the drafts of book 2 and book 3, and I see where we're at with them, and how my prose improved and how my story improved. That's how I do see my improvement with drafts of the sequels.
Well, it sure is cringy sometimes to go back and see how it all started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Next question is, what's your view on intentionally or unintentionally taking ideas from other stories?
Intentionally, I find it very constructive. I think that if you know there is a story that you're taking inspiration from, once you have your finger on it, you can make it very constructive for your story. I can say that I have some lines that I took from memes, and some lines that I took from movies that I really like. I was this close to putting a "one does not simply" meme into the book. Eventually I didn't. I do have "all right, then keep your secrets" from Lord of the Rings, and I do have "come to the dark side, we have cookies" reference. When Lylin joins their team in the end of chapter 7, Nye and Diane sort of tell her, welcome to the villain side or the dark side or something like that, and she smells the scent of cookies coming from the kitchen.
Okay, so, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
I didn't catch the references.
It's a meme. It's totally a meme. Yeah, there's that. There's also a high ground reference from the Star Wars high ground meme. And there are others. I don't remember them all right now, but I do think that if you do it intentionally and maybe take that out of context, use the same line but in an entirely different context, I find it very fine. My friends made a lot of fun of me back when I was just outlining the book, how much I copy from Sanderson. And then the more we grew, the more we realized that he's just teaching those stuff. So it's not really copying, just doing what he teaches. That's not copying.
No, I
So
didn't feel like it was copying anything. It sure had a Sanderson feel to it, especially with the magic. But no, there wasn't anything identical, enough to say that it was copying.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I don't know. It's like it's a team that worked to take down a supreme leader and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like Mistborn in a way, but not really. So I do think that once you do it intentionally, you can do it very constructively. If you do it unintentionally, it won't be as constructive. Like if people point out to you how similar your story is to another story, it can be a little offending, but also try to make the best of it and just make sure you take the best sides of this story and not the bad sides. And that might build up to be a really good story. Like if people say, this really reminds me of that story, but it does it better or something like that, it can work great. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my idea.
it's also very hard to come up with a story that's 100% original. Like, there's so many books out there, so I feel like every story has been told already, like many times. It's really just how you manage to do it and how to
Yes,
tell the
definitely.
story. So
When Sandra also mentioned that, like at some point, years after Mistborn succeeded, somebody came up to him and said, "Wow, that's like a bunch of Magnetos fighting each other," and he was like, "Huh, it is like a bunch of Magnetos
Yeah.
fighting each other." So it's even though Mistborn feels really original, I
Yeah.
guess in a way not, but it's still really awesome. So yeah, it's fine if it's also if it's almost original and then it's not, because many stories were already told, so it's really difficult. Even with a story as original as Mistborn, so there will be connotations. So yeah.
Yep.
Next.
Did you experience writer's block while writing the series, and do you have any tips for it?
No. No, I'm kidding. I don't get many writer's block. I find myself thinking of more ideas like faster than I can write them. I do sometimes feel blocked about what I should write right now, but I never like feel blank of ideas. If I can't write what I should write today, then I think of ideas for what I should write in a week. So that's, I guess, both the answer to my writer's block thing and to the tip. Like if you're blocked for this scene, try to think about another scene. Also, I did get blocked sometimes by lack of confidence, like thinking that shit, what am I writing? What am I doing with my life? It all sucks. Everything sucks. That does block me. It doesn't block the ideas. It just blocks the fingers from actually typing. Because like lack of confidence blocks you from doing anything. And when that happens, I just try to do whatever I have to do to increase my confidence. I think Jenna Moresi also mentioned that in one of her videos about confidence for writers. I just, like, back when I was in the university, I tried to, okay, I can't write right now because I lack confidence. So I will wait until my next good grade. I know there is this exam. I did it a week ago. Any day now I should get the grade in it, and it should be very good. And then it comes in, it's like 95 out of 100 or something like that. And like, yes, I'm so awesome. I'm going to write today. So just do whatever you have to do to re-increase your confidence. And then once it's high again, get back to writing.
Yeah, that's very important. I feel like all writers eventually face this issue, like, oh, I'm not good enough. This story isn't good enough. I mean, just write,
Mhm.
okay? Write the book.
Yeah. Write the book, and if you feel lacking on confidence, just do whatever you have to do to regain your confidence. If there's people you know who give you confidence, talk to them.
Yes.
And if there is other stuff that you do, um, I don't know. For you, for example, I'd just have to say your art is amazing. I love it so much. So if you ever feel lacking on confidence, just look at the shit that you made, and it's so good. So
Thanks.
there's that.
Thank you.
So just make sure to go back to your confident islands and resupply and go back.
Okay. Oh, there's the last question. I was going to skip it. My bad. Okay, last question from Rian. Did you base any characters on real people or any part of the plot or real life experiences?
Real life experiences, I think we discussed enough with all
Yeah.
the abuse thing. About the characters, about real people, I based them all on me, and I kind of regret that.
Why?
I can see myself as a 12-year-old when facing huge trauma, just being apathic to it, like Lighting, and I can see myself as glitter in a relationship, kind of manipulating my spouse, thinking it's for their own good, and I can't see myself as Nike. Forget about that. But I can see. I imagine myself very often when I read other books, just entering the story with powers like Ivy's powers and just being super awesome and solving the conflict and stuff like that. So it's all based on how I perceive myself, both with criticism and with the good stuff and with the fun stuff. And I kind of regret that because after I finished writing the entire trilogy, I finally opened my heart to seeing other people that are so different from me, and they are so interesting, and I miss that in my stories. So I try now when I revise to put more people from real life into them, and it's very difficult. I'm not used to that. I am used to writing just my own different sides. Also, Hinoch reflects me in many ways. I'm very forgiving like he is, also for manipulation and lies and everything. So yeah, I wish I would put more of other people's into it. It would have turned out more realistic and stuff. I'll do it in the future.
Okay, well, I mean, there's room for improvement, but the fact that we can find your personality in your book is not an issue to me. At least, at as long as it's not a straight up self-insert, I think it's fine. The self-insert is a pet peeve of mine. I can't
It's a
stand
bit
it.
weird. It's a bit weird, yeah.
But having pieces of your personality in your books and your characters is not an issue. I mean, I think all writers do it intentionally or unintentionally, mostly unintentionally. It's just something that happens as you write. But yeah, it's fine to me.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now questions from Lulu. I like this nickname.
From who? From who?
Fun. What's that?
From who? From Udi?
No, Lulu.
Ah, Lulu. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So first question is writing a full-time job, and if not, how do you manage to balance it with the rest?
It's not my full-time job. Right now with COVID, I sort of retreated to living with my parents, and that makes everything a little easier. Because like there's always food in the house and I don't really have to cook much and stuff like that. It's definitely not my full-time job. I did earn quite a lot of money this last month, and that's nice. I don't see it happening in the next few months, though. We'll see. It depends on the campaign with the ebook. I do advise people who wanna both write and maybe even write professionally and do other stuff. Try to get jobs where you can do that during the job. often hotel jobs or security jobs allow you to do that. Like if you work in a hotel and you do a night shift and you have to be awake from 10 to 6 a.m. And there's very little movement of people, and usually you're not very hungry in those hours either. You can just find yourself writing for like 5 hours and you earn money while you do that. So that's how I would advise people to do both real job and writing, at least until you publish and earn enough money from that. I do wish writing to be my full-time job, like I said before. With teaching, that's a dream.
Yep. Like, I mean, it's really hard to balance with free time. Well, I feel like most people don't have a lot of free time, so that's a good tip. I'll try to do that.
Good luck.
I'm already very sneaky in class. I do other stuff instead of studying. I'm not a very good student. That's
good thing you mentioned that. I did write quite a lot during my classes. It did lead me to some pretty bad grades, but also it taught me to be sneaky about picking the courses in which it's easier to get an A. So I just picked those, and then it allowed me to be busy with writing during the lectures. With every course that was an elective, that's what I did.
It's all about being sneaky.
That's what university teaches you to do. It teaches you,
Exactly.
it prepares you for real life, and in real life, you need to be sneaky.
I know that all too well. Okay. Question 2. When did you know you wanted to pursue writing? When did you start writing again? You said about 10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years ago. I knew I wanted to pursue it when I finished the trilogy, and people, especially from uni, really wanted to hear more about it. That's when I knew that I should pursue it.
Yep, that's very encouraging for sure. What books influenced your writing?
Well, obviously Sanderson's books. Firstly for the magic system, and then for the mental disorders thingy. He does both of them really good. Did you finish Words of Radiance, by the way?
No, I'm so close to the end. I'm
All right.
very
I
slowly.
will say nothing more then, but there is mental disorders representation in
Yes.
Stormlight Archive, and I really like that. And the hard magic systems, of course. I do want to say that in addition to that, I tried to watch a bunch of revenge movies to get inspiration for that. So there was V for Vendetta, which was a big inspiration, and Lucky Number 11, which was smaller inspiration. It's a really good movie. It's very underrated. It's Bruce Willis thing, and it has a lot of mystery around it, and you unravel it, and you know twists and everything, and it's an amazing book. It had quite an inspiration for me also. Um, uh, I don't know if I should say that. I hope they will not sue me. No, they won't. But there is this thing that the Glitters group do. They call it monkey urban shuffle
Yes.
when they have a plan to do something. You remember that?
Yeah.
So that's in the movie in Lucky Number 11, they had a thing they called Kansas City Shuffle. So that's
Okay.
definitely the inspiration for that. Um,
All right.
yeah, and there were part of a bunch of other stuff. Also, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Obviously, I have benders in my book. I try to do a lot of bending of other stuff, of sound and light, which they didn't do in Avatar. And what else? Mistborn, Stormlight, Revenge Stories, Avatar, and computer games, mainly Guild Wars 2. You and I used it a lot when we did the illustrations. I gave you some examples from there. I just, the world there, the colors and the design is really inspiring, and the humor of the teams and their interactions. It was really inspiring to write the Glitter's team. So that also.
All right. Awesome. Great. Great references. Um,
Mhm.
What authors do you look up to the most?
Obviously Sando, and other than him, like I look up to Joe Abercrombie. I didn't read any of his books. I really want to. I hear he does morally gray characters really well, and I'm very jealous of that. I really want to read that. And other than that, I look up mostly to screenwriters. There is this one guy, his name is Aaron Sorkin. He wrote the Facebook movie and a bunch of others, and he's really, really clever. And I don't know, the writers of Avatar, obviously, and Christopher Nolan and his brother, Jonathan Nolan. I really like screenwriters. Whoever wrote Pirates of the Caribbean, also geniuses. What the hell? And Peter Jackson for what he did with Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I find Tolkien very inspiring. I don't like his prose, but he's what stood behind his idea to write like the war and everything. It's so inspiring. I love it. And right now I'm reading Wheel of Time, and we'll see if Robert Jordan will join this list or not. At the moment, I have my issues, but I also have my likes. There are a lot more likes than issues, and we'll see how it proceeds.
It's just in. I'm getting into that series too this year. I think I will try.
All right.
Okay, so last question by Lulu. What is your main goal regarding writing? What would you want to accomplish in a year and even later?
I want to be the best-selling author ever. No, I'm kidding, but I do want to be. I want to be. I don't know what's the right word for that. Accepted in my country. I want people to acknowledge the fact that I'm an author who's set abroad, and I want when people ask for writing advice, I want them to think about me. I want my advice to be valuable to people, and I want to help people. I don't want my words to just go spended and ignored and spent and ignored. So that's pretty much what I aim for. Like it's mainly in my country. My success abroad, I hope it will project enough on my country to get the book translated to Hebrew. And from there, we'll see. I do really want to see TV adaptation. I imagine each book being done with 3 episodes, each episode 90 minutes, like they did the Sherlock series. I very much want the book to work like that, the TV adaptation. I can't, for the life of me, imagine if it will ever happen.
That would be
I'm
freaking
very
awesome.
hopeful. Yeah, I think so too. If it does, I do want not to have the abuse thing. I want to just drop it. I think that the manipulation and lies that Knight does is enough reason to make it unlikable. And I don't think the abuse will work well on screen. So I'm very much willing to let go of that if it's ever adapted. And so yeah, those are pretty much my dreams.
All right, interesting. I hope it does. Your book does get picked up in your country more. You said that publishing wasn't a big industry where you live, and that it was a big part
No,
to.
and it's decreasing now. Like we have bookstores, of course we have, and we have publishers, and we have fantasy publishers also. They mostly translate to Hebrew books that already succeeded out of the country. It's very not patriotic of them, but they have to make a living, and it works. So I try to success enough abroad to impress them enough to get their attention and make it happen in Israel, and we'll see.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, so now this is Winker. Why this story? I love this question. Just why?
Because it really fits to the magic system. That's yeah. Yeah. Well, with the way that for anyone who hasn't read the book, it's revealed in chapter 1. When people love each other, you can harness their love to control their emotions. That can be used for their advantage or against them, and either way, it's very invasive, and it can lead to abuse very easily. So with that in mind, the whole story of abuse really works with that magic system. So why this story? I wanted this magic system, and that story really works with it.
Yep, it does. I mean, it's very centered on emotions, and it's a very good topic. It works very well.
Right.
This question is also awesome. Will you mind if I borrow your editor?
I don't mind as long as you promise to give her back. I need her.
I told you she's a superstar.
Yeah, that's
This is
it.
great. All right. Is there a specific scene in this book that stood out for you? Like I said, if you're asking if
Yes.
there's a favorite scene.
Yes, I have a favorite scene. I think I can even give it without spoilers. One of the relatively early chapters, let's say the first half of the book, there is a scene where we learn about the past of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And usually in books, especially in debut books, they do that with flashback. And
Yes.
originally I did that with the flashback, and then I realized that it doesn't really work, not as good as I wanted. So instead, I told it with another character telling that story. Not a flashback, she just told it to another character.
Mm-hmm.
And she told it while also using her powers and practicing her powers. So I got telling the origin story, showing powers, showing training, and building character relationships and motivation all in the same chapter. And I really like that.
That was
It
very
was,
cool. Yep.
thank you. I'm really glad I got to think about this idea. The inspiration for this idea is really embarrassing.
Why?
I know these movies are kind of hated. I have a warm spot in my heart for them. It's the Hobbit movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first Hobbit movie, Balin, the cousin of the king, not a cousin, the uncle of the king, he tells the king's story to Bilbo. And like it's a flashback, you see the war going on and stuff, but Balin tells the story. And the fact that he tells the story, the fact that the king doesn't tell the story about himself, makes the king look a little more humble and more revered. And then you see all the other dwarves standing and respecting him for what he did. And you feel that also as the audience. You're like, wow, you're an amazing person. So I thought, wait, if I can get someone else to tell the story, then it looks really good. So that's how I came up with the idea. That's how I ditched the flashback and I rewrote this chapter. And I'm really glad I thought about it.
It's a good idea. It's again, it's all about being sneaky.
Definitely.
You mentioned that the drafts for book 2 and 3 are already done. Any idea of when they might be coming out?
I hope to get them 18 months apart. Like the book 1 was published, let's say now, so 18 months from now. And the next one, I hope 18 months after that. I may manage to do it in 12. I'm not sure. The date in which I try to release my books is very much depending on other books. I'm sneaky like that also. I chose January because I knew it will be enough time after the new Sanderson book, but also enough time before the next one. And also the beginning of a new decade is always a good thing.
Yep.
So many people say that they want to read self-published in this year, so that worked really well for me.
Yeah.
So I choose my dates also for marketing purposes. So there's that to account for also. So the book may be ready in 12 months, but I may delay 6 more months just to release it in the right date.
Okay, that's a long time. I'm not sure I can
Yeah,
wait
but
that
not
long.
that long, not relatively to other authors.
It's fine. Just make sure you deliver good sequels.
I will.
We deserve that after being so upset with Nai. You need to redeem it us too.
Yeah.
Last question is from Winkerb, I mean, is when can we expect a book sign-in world tour?
I don't know. Water? No, I don't know. How should I know that? Maybe if I get picked up by a publisher, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe if they can pay for it, I can see myself paying for it. Right now, I'm selling each copy for $3. It may come up to $4 after all the campaigns and releases and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, let's say I sell 10,000 copies. It's not going to happen, but let's say I do, then I'll earn 40,000 bucks, and then take away taxes and everything. It will not leave me enough money for a world tour ever. Yeah. Maybe if a publisher picks it up, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Hopefully, I love it.
what about a book sign in your country then?
I already did tour around the country.
Yeah.
It wasn't an organized tour. I just I printed 200 copies, and I told anybody who wants to pick up a copy, stay at home. I'll get it to you. And then I drove over and sat with them and drank tea with them or water or whatever, and told them a little bit about the book. And I intend to keep doing that. I really like that. It gives me a reason to socialize during these awful times.
Yeah.
So there is that I do, and we'll see if there will be something more organized. At the moment, nothing in the foreseeable future. I'm in for it. We'll see.
Yeah, well, that's awesome already. You know, the tour across your country, and I hope the series works well enough for you to make a world tour. Why not? Just make sure you stop by in my city. Don't forget about me.
Definitely not. If anything, I want you to do more drawings for the book, but
Of course,
yeah,
I will never stop.
one step at a time.
No, as long as you ask for more illustrations, I'll be happy to make them. That's for sure. Okay, so the last questions are all by the same person. They wish to remain anonymous. So their first question is, how much of your own personality is in your characters? I already said this. And where do you find motivation to write characters that are very different from you?
Characters that are very different from me, it's difficult because yes, each character is another side of me. So they're all similar to me, but also all very different from me. Like, I'm not abusive in any way, I don't think. But there are some, I don't know, aspects of me that can be understood that way. Like, I don't know, maybe when I was younger, I may have been more manipulative or something. So how do I find motivation for that? I just try to enter their state of mind. It takes a great deal of care and empathy to just get inside the shoes of someone else, but it's not impossible. It takes like, I don't know, 10 or 20 minutes of hard concentration, get into other people's shoes and then try to write from their perspective, what they would have said, what they would have done. Or the easy way is just watch a movie with a character like that and then just rephrase what they say, or use their expressions and stuff.
Yep. Well, on the same topic, which of your characters you're the most like and the least like? So who do you think is the most similar to you?
I'm the most like leader because usually I'm calm. I do get excited very much recently, mainly about the book, but it's very balanced by how calm I am. I'm a very calm person. That is not to say that I'm not caring, and that is not to say that I'm that I'm not empathic or manipulative, but I am very calm. It's very difficult to get me upset.
The glitter?
Yeah, I'm the most like leader. But recently I get very excited about stuff. I don't have such an excited character in the book, I don't think. So my real life is mostly like glitter. Real, I mean like outside of the internet. But my internet persona, I don't think it's like any of the characters. Let's see. Who is excited? No, none of
I
them.
don't feel like
Uh,
there's a character that can be defined that
that
way.
gets overly excited. And yeah, it doesn't really happen that much. Like excitement doesn't have a synthetic power, so there isn't any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do often, like when I was asked this question by people outside of the internet, it was easy, glitter. And they know me for the calm person that I am. They know how difficult it is to get me upset. Um, like I cry from books, but I rarely cry for because of things that happen in real life. And the same about good news also. And yeah,
All right.
I am a mesmer. That's what I am.
That's,
I summon calm and I deplete calm, and that's how I roll.
that's cool. And who's the character that's the most different from you then?
I guess Kerak. Yeah, Kerak also gets a little bit too excited about stuff. Yeah, definitely. Kerak. He was also very difficult to write because of that. I had to find a way to write a character who gets angry and kills people and stuff like that. It was very difficult, especially next to other characters who are so self-contained. Yeah, Carrick is the one I'm the most different from.
To be honest, I think that's a good thing. It's very good to be very different from Kirak, so that's good news. Okay, question 2. There have been complaints about the way abuse is tackled in your book. Where did you get the idea of working with this topic, and why did you choose to show it the way you did? That's true.
The
You
idea
didn't
is
mention.
actually very.
Yeah,
I didn't mention
where you got
where the
idea.
idea of abuse came from. Yeah, I wanted to write morally gray characters, and Nai is overall pretty heroic and pretty selfless because yes, he pursues revenge, but he also wants to help Diane and the other women get equality and not to be hunted anymore. And that won't affect his day-to-day life. He's a man. He's not affected by that. So that's very altruistic of him. I had to give him, if I wanted him to be morally gray, I had to give him a horrible flaw to counter that. And being abusive sounded like a good idea. Also, whenever he harnesses Ivy's love to control her, he has to disguise it with something visible. Like when he wants to make her feel like she's loved, he's being kind and nice, while he actually harnesses her love to make him like him more. But he also fakes it in real life. So I needed the abuse to be the thing that he does, while he also harnesses her love to depress her powers. So she won't feel that the depression of her powers come from him harnessing her love, if that makes sense. So it's also a very good way for him to disguise his abilities against her.
True. That's quite the contradiction, though. That's probably why his kind side looked fake to me, because he was such a horrible person on the other side. It was a bit weird. But yeah, I totally see what you did there.
Also, there is Glitter's abuse, the way that she abuses Heinok, and I wanted this on screen because I wanted to explore the way that relationships can be abusive in a non-violent way. And that I just wanted to put out there, and yeah, see where the characters take it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, well, do you think you managed to paint the real picture of abuse cycles? You said you did a lot of research on the topic, so you did.
Yeah, I don't like to call it research because like I didn't interview anyone. I just read about it on Facebook and stuff, and it's not super research. I'm not an academic in any way. I'm just another guy who keeps scrolling and stuff. But yeah, I did read a lot about it, and I try to be as true as I am to the stuff that I read about. That's what I did.
I mean, it's
If
still
the stuff
people.
that I read about reflect reality, then yes, I think I did a good job. If they don't reflect reality, then that's too bad. Then people who write those stuff on Facebook, please be more
Yep.
accurate. Uh,
Yeah. No, I mean, you said it's not research, but I mean, still people sharing their experiences, allegedly. I don't know.
mhm.
So
Yes.
on the realistic side, I think you did a good job because the unfairness of it all really was, showing. So,
Mhm.
that was
Yeah.
good. That was quite good.
Mhm.
Okay, which character was the hardest to work on and why?
Kerak, because he's so different from me, definitely. And because he sucks. He just sucks.
He does.
Um, and I wanted all of my characters to be interesting, and he just sucks. So that twist in the there is spoiler again, and it's going to connect really well with the sequels. But the way I did it in the first book, it was a very late decision. And yes, I did revise the book after that to make it make as much sense as possible, but it still doesn't quite work, I think. I did the best I could with the skill that I had at the time, and it was very difficult. So that's the one.
All right. Uh, what is your most important criterion when choosing who you want to work with? How important is it to hire experienced people, and how do you recognize potential in those who want to work with you and are skilled but don't have years of work behind them?
How do I recognize potential? Um, um, I, uh, I have this potential compass right here. I'll show it to you. No, I'm kidding.
I almost believed you.
No, it's mostly the target audience. It's also distinctness. I don't know how to use that word in English, like how distinct this
Yeah.
person is. I say that mostly when with you in mind, because your artwork on stuff, it's so cute. And I don't know, I ran into some people who disagree with it because they say, I don't know, that Vin is not cute or something, but your art is so distinct that it has its own voice, and I find that very appealing. Like many other arts, they are beautiful, and they maybe even be more beautiful, but they are also very much like each other. So I prefer the stuff that are not exactly the same like everyone else. And in addition to that, there is the how available the person is. Like if they answer me like in big delays, really big delays, then I prefer not to work with them. And whether or not they are from the target audience, obviously. And that may be a little manipulative of me, but also if this person has something to prove, then I'd very much like him to try to prove it in relation to me. Um, so that also helps me decide who to work with. Like someone who's just beginning, who needs to work on their portfolio and stuff like that. If they have something to prove to themselves or to others, then yeah, sure, let's do it together. And I'm sorry, what was the beginning of the question? It did include how do I decide who to work with, but also
Yeah, well, what's the most important thing when choosing who you want to work with?
what's most important? Target audience. Definitely target audience.
I mean,
They have to be as close as possible to.
yeah, that makes things way easier. There's this understanding right from the beginning. So yeah, it's also what I enjoy about our collab, that there's this communication that's very easy. It makes everything very easy, especially when I worked on Ivy, Glitter, and Diane. You were always listening to my opinions and everything. So I love how we have this good communication going on and good understanding. So yep, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. Me too, definitely.
All right, question 5. If there was one thing you could change about the book, what would it be? Also, oh wait, we can ask this separately. What do you want to change about the book if you could?
That thing I said before about Kerak, the more I think about it, the more serious it looks to me. I would have tried to make him look more like the person that may like at the start, he doesn't look like this kind of person, and then he kind of surprises with that. It's kind of a subvert expectations. It is possible. I don't think it comes off as too forced, but it could be better done.
Yes,
so I would
to be
very
honest,
much like to.
yeah, I think I mentioned it in my review. It didn't seem genuine at all because there was no indication that he might actually. So suddenly he was like, I was like, what? You don't mean that. Don't try to fool me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would have changed that. Yeah, you gave it a sigh. You were like, less sigh.
Yeah.
I love this video so much. I'm going to rewatch it again after we finish here. Yeah. So I would have changed that, I think. Okay, and I don't know, there is another part of the question or something?
Yes, a very similar one. What is the one thing you'd change about your publishing process?
Fuck that cover. I don't need that cover. Another cover. No, I'm kidding.
Would be a shame to change
let's
it.
see. Definitely. No, I love it so much. It's great.
Yep. It's good.
The publishing process.
If you had the chance to go traditional, would you do it? Like, do you think it would be better than self-publishing? For instance, I don't know.
That's good that you mentioned it because exactly no. What I would have changed is not trying to approach agents back when I just started. Like when I had about a book and a half ready, I started trying to send queries to agents with the first chapter. It was a very bad version of the first chapter. And obviously they refused it. And the refusal alone didn't hurt me that much. Just waiting for it and not knowing whether I'm going to be traditional published or self-published, the wait itself was, and the uncertainty, it was really difficult. I don't mind the refusal itself, and now I definitely don't mind it because the book wasn't remotely ready. But the waiting itself, the uncertainty, it was really difficult. So if I could change something, I would have gone for self-publish from the beginning and not even trying to query.
Okay, that's good. It just shows that you made the right decision here. You're convinced by it, and that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I think we reached the last question. Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, so last question is, are you an outliner? And how do you organize your stories before you write them, if at all?
I don't outline much. I outline the next few chapters, and I have a whole bunch of notes of stuff that I want to happen. I do. That's a good question because I mostly go with the rule of cool. I really want cool scenes to happen, and I want the cool scenes to be cool by how characters get over their defects and how their defects will harm them and stuff like that. Like Glitter has this scene. It's not a big spoiler. There's this one part, she's surrounded by enemies and she kisses one of the enemies because she has a calm shield on her, and the calm shield prevents her from delivering damage, but kissing someone does not deliver damage. So when she kisses him, he can't shield himself from that because it's not damage, but it does confuse him, and that's how she beats him. So she uses the flaws of the power for her own advantage. I find that really, really cool. So I do the rule of cool. I want that to happen. And then I make sure that all the foreshadowing and everything is in place. So that's how I outline. I have cool scenes in mind, and then I make sure that everything that leads to these cool scenes work. I'm sure this specific example must be debatable. Like, I'm sure some people will find it cringe. I don't know. Personally, I really like it.
A little. But I understand the purpose. She was trying to plantify him. I get it. And it worked.
But I really like it. Anyway, so yeah, I do the rule of cool. I have scenes in mind. I know what I want to happen. So that's what I do. I have the rule of cool, and I make sure that everything that leads to the cool scenes makes sense.
Okay, so
and I do have outlines for the next few chapters. When I work on chapter 1, I have outlines for chapter 2, 3, and 4, and that's how I roll for.
So you don't have a full outline, but you do know where you're going. You still know where you're going.
Yeah.
So
and the outline fills itself. The more I work, the more notes are added. The outline sort of fills itself. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I know what the final chapter is going to be, and I know what chapter 30 is going to be, and it slowly fills up in itself.
Do you often have the end in mind? Like, first, like personally, I always think of the end first before I even think of the beginning. Like that, I know where I'm going, and I just try to make that my way to it. So is it the same for you, or?
Yes, definitely. And it's also a very good motivator because I really want the end to be written. So with the end just in mind, and I'm like, I have to reach it. Just like you have to reach it when you read, I also have to reach it when I write.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the ending in my head. Mostly it's tied to songs. Not specifically the ending of book 1, but the endings of book 2 and 3 are very much related to songs. Yeah, each time I listen to the song, I'm like, I have to get there already.
That's good.
So does that.
So you're somewhere between an outliner and a discovery writer, somewhere in between.
Yeah, I outline the cool scenes and I discover how to reach them. I'd say that.
Okay. Now I try to do that. I suffer from writer's block. It's terrible.
Try to just yeah, what I said before, like aim for the coolness, and if you have a very good idea for the cool parts, then just write the cool parts, and
yes, right.
Find a way later how to that part which blocks you, the part that you can't write right now. Think next week or the week after that how to make this part cool, and then write this.
All right, gotcha. I'll try it.
All right. Wow, I don't know how to end this. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I know. It's also awesome. Like we had many different questions, so I feel like it was great having your clarifications about the book. Your whole point of view. Like I had so much criticism on 9. Now I understand more what you intended to do with the character, so I'm less upset. But I'm
glad I managed to do that without spoilers. Like for some people, I managed to calm them with spoilers, and I think I managed to do that without spoiling book 2 and 3, and that's good.
Yeah, that was great. That was where I had a great time. What else is there to say? I mean, follow the author, obviously, everywhere on social media.
And follow the YouTuber and illustrator, obviously. I'm a big fan, Kaya. I love everything that you do. Please do more Cosmere stuff and Donnerstein Night stuff. And yeah, all the links are in the description below.
Yes, in the description. You'll find all the links, all the useful links. Pre-order Winds of Strife if this interview comes before the data release. I'm pretty sure it will, but get the book anyway. It's if you're still hesitating, I don't know why. I hope we've convinced you that this is worth it. So definitely try the book. Follow Uri everywhere on social media to keep updated on the book, on the sequels. Follow me, so you can subscribe to this channel. Follow my Instagram for some doodles. I draw a lot too, so It's
And
just
let
a lot
us
of
know
fun.
if you want to do more interviews. Let us know if you should see more interviews from Kaya. It has been great. I would love to see more.
Also, more Cosmere stuff coming up, of course. I have at least 2 videos scheduled very soon, so stick around.
Very cool.
We have lots of fun over here.
Mhm.
All right, thank you again for doing this with me. I had a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
It was
Thank
very
you.
great,
It has
and
been
I believe it was a good experience too for the both of us. So yeah, again, I wish to insult Alidar with my tiny witch hat.
Hashtag Alida was right. They're all
No,
witches.
I mean maybe, but he can do whatever he wants. I still wear this hat, so I'm a rebel. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I
All
guess
right.
we're done.
Have a great day and
Have
take
a
care of
great day
yourself.
too.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
bye
Bye
bye.
bye.